welcome back to Railway Tales. In this episode we look at the snappily titled Woolmer Instructional Military Railway, and the trackbed can be seen behind me. In 1863 the War Department required additional training land, and it bought a vast expanse of open ground and woodland here at Borden in Surrey. Two camps were built, Borden and Longmoor, each with approximately 70 accommodation huts. They first housed returning troops from the Boer War, but the Longmoor camp ran into problems with soft ground, and it was decided to move all of its large corrugated huts to Borden. This was over 4 miles away, and the Royal Engineers laid a temporary and basic 18-inch gauge twin track. The huts were jacked up onto trolleys, and the whole lot was moved along using a steam-powered winch, shire horses and brute force. The War Department realised the value of training their soldiers in railway construction and operation. In 1905, the old 18-inch tracks were lifted and standard gauge tracks were replaced by the Royal Engineers. The military line became known as the Woolmer Instructional Military Railway, named because the area was known as Woolmer's Forest. In 1933, an extension was built to Liss and exchange sidings came into limited use. It would be several years until the War Department coughed up the money to have the line signalled and connected to the Portsmouth main line. At the other end of the line of the WIMR was Borden, and this was a station shared with the London South Western Railway. The other end of that branch line joined to the public rail network at Bentley. See my video about the Borden Light Railway. 2 years later, in 1935, the Woolmer Instructional Military Railway took the name it is most remembered by, the Longmoor Military Railway. As part of the training, the LMR ran daily passenger trains for Army personnel. The service ran between Liss and Borden, serving various halts, nearby villages, military stores, training grounds and rifle ranges. The largest station on the internal network was Longmoor Downs. This was the original terminus before the Liss extension was built. It had a number of steam and diesel sheds, workshops and numerous sidings. The Longmoor site housed a significant number of military personnel and contained 2-storey brick army billets, 2 large mess canteens, a post office, workshop buildings, 2 large naffies, indoor sporting facilities, medical facilities, a cinema, garrison, church, kitchen sinks and Uncle Tom Cobley and all. It is no surprise then that at its peak the railway had over 70 miles of operational track. An additional loop called the Hollywood Loop was completed in 1942 and enabled circular running. This was to improve the around-the-clock training and avoid having to turn trains at each terminus. Being a training railway, some of the layout changed periodically as track was often removed and relaid. For maximum learning potential, there was a wide diversity of locomotives and rolling stock on the LMR. Longmoor was kept very busy preparing batches of steam and diesel locomotives for military campaigns throughout Europe. With the exception of 2 years in the 1950s, the site held a public day from 1947 onwards. This allowed the public and enthusiasts onto MOD property, ride the trains, look about the site and witness various demonstrations. The last public day was in 1969 and gathered a record-breaking 100,000 people. To put that into perspective, that's more than the current Wembley Stadium can comfortably seat. The military role for the railways dwindled at the end of World War II. Passenger services between Borden and Bentley stopped in 1957, but the line held out a little while longer for occasional army use. But it too closed in 1966 and the track was lifted. This just left the main line connection at Liss. The Longmoor Military Railway closed down with the ceremonial last day of operations on the 31st of October 1969. The lines were lifted 3 years later. The closure of the LMR prompted preservation groups to put in a bid for the whole line, but the MOD rejected this, but did offer a mile or so of the link to Liss Station. This is now a free public access footpath and is known as the Liss Riverside Railway Walk. If you've enjoyed this brief look at the Longmoor Military Railway, please give the video a like, leave a comment if you want, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more transport related videos from me, and thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time for more Railway Tales. Longmoor Railway closed down with a ceremonial last day on the 31st of October. October? What's that? October and August? October. The closure element of blah blah blah. 2, no 3, 4. Start 4 and 4 here now. No, that's not quite right. Let's start that again. Click.